Before we get to Jerry Jones saying great things about Micah Parsons, as he should, here is Jerry Jones addressing the fact that he heard chants over the weekend of pay Micah at training camp. Here's Jerry.
I was shocked last year when we ended up with the record that we had. I never saw that coming. I want you to know, and I want you to look for as you watch practices this week. I want you to watch what we've done in the areas that we needed to work on.
Now, Jones would say yesterday that he heard pay Micah chants lightly, but not compared to how I heard them say pay Lamb, as in CeeDee Lamb, last year. That was a faint little sound compared to the way they were hollering pay Lamb last year. Whoever's not in, you can count on a few hollering that, but it was a big, loud chant last year on Lamb. Like,
why would you say that?
This is a gratuitous effort to make us slap it. I know. Yeah. Exactly. Why does he say 90% of what he says? But here's the point that he's just flat out missing, Chris. CeeDee Lamb wasn't there last year. So, yes, whoever's not there, they're going to chant. And they're going to chant more loudly when the guy's not there. Micah's there. So the fans don't feel the same urgency to chant pay Micah. He's there. If he wasn't there, it would be a hell of a lot louder. And it comes back to my point. He should not be there. And I respect the fact that, he's there for his teammates. He loves football. That's great. But you're hurting yourself by being there. Yeah. He never should have shown up.
Yeah, it's a tough one as a player. You know it. You say it all the time. This is where they use your love of the sport, your love of your teammates. And as a player, you do want to be around, too, because you still do feel like, hey, if I'm around and I am working out and I'm hearing the defensive calls and still thinking the game and working a little bit, you feel like you're at least putting yourself in a position to have a great year in case Jerry and company screw me over and only pay me $24 million this year and don't give me the deal I expect. So that's where it's really tough as a player. But, yes, it does. It takes part of your leverage away. Well, I don't understand that. And, I don't understand why Jerry Jones goes down that road of saying that to kind of disparage Micah Parsons within that. Okay, great. And you know what? All those CeeDee Lamb chants, you know what they amounted to last year? 7-10, and your ass at home for the playoffs. That's what it did. So you're looking like you're going to try to repeat that one more time here. Actually, even more dysfunctional this time around than it was that time. And I don't get it either on top of that where you go, wait, there's two positions right now, three, we're going to talk about it in a minute, that stand above the rest in football. They stand above the rest. You got to have some offensive tackles, right? Left tackle, right tackle. You got to have a quarterback, and you got to have a pass rusher. And that's what the great teams in football have right now. And you got one that is as special as we have ever seen here. And for some reason, I don't know what the deal is there. We're going to just drag our feet continually on this whole contract situation. And that's just, to me, the logic of it, football-wise, the personal part of it, as an ex-player that wants to see a player like Micah Parsons rewarded, it all bothers me a little bit with how the Cowboys are going about this.
If we had been on last week, one of the topics would have been other things Jerry said that disrespect both Micah Parsons and the guy they paid last year at quarterback, Dak Prescott. Here's what, and this is amazing because with Jerry and Steven, there's this never-ending stream of commentary that makes you forget about the thing that maybe they shouldn't have said the last time they said something. And what Jerry said last week was, as to Micah, just because we signed him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. I remember signing a player for the highest paid at the position in the league, and he got knocked out 2/3 of the year, Dak Prescott. So there's a lot of things you could think about when you're, just as a player does, when you're thinking about committing and guaranteeing money. I mean, basically what he's saying is, hey, when you pay these guys, they might get hurt. Well, no shit. Here it is. Yeah, they're football players. Football players get hurt. That's why they want security. That's why they work for less in the early years of their careers, and then they want financial security against injury. in the later years of their career. They want the team to be on the hook for that. That's how it goes. It's part of the risk you take on. Somebody's got to take on the risk of the guy being injured. And it's just this weird backward-ass justification. Well, we may give him all that money, but then we may not have him anyway. So, I don't even understand his point.
No.
Yeah, he might get injured. Any player might get injured.
Right.
And they do get injured. That's football.
Exactly right. And he might, if you paid him last year and you paid him accordingly, maybe it wouldn't have been 6 games. Maybe there would have been a little more urgency to get back. It only been 3 or 4 because he's going, wait, they paid me. I'm a leader. But when you don't have that contract, you go, wait, I'm not 100%. I'm not going to put myself out there right before I'm about to, strike it rich here and maybe hurt myself worse to where I don't capitalize on that. So the thought process is all wrong there. It's all wrong. And what they've done to themselves, and we've laughed about a little bit and all that is, yeah, okay, great job with your Dak Prescott comparison. You're paying a quarterback that's not one of the 10 best quarterbacks in football other than Josh Allen. You're paying him more than every quarterback in the game, and you're not getting any of the same results that Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes or any of them are showing us on a Sunday game-to-game basis. And that's, again, their own fault with their own contracts, and they're dragging the feet and all that. And then to do that and then, some kind of side slap your team, your players on your football team by disparaging them again, I don't understand it.
Hey, why even make the gratuitous crack about Dak Prescott?
Exactly.
It just
right.
makes no sense.
No.
It makes no sense, but it's more justification for this idea of we're going to drag our feet like they did with Dak, and that's one of the reasons why he's making so much now. They waited so damn long to pay him the first time that they painted themselves into a corner, and the way that contract was structured with the leverage he had because they waited too long, they were painted into a corner again last year. And he got hit, even though he showed up and was there and ready to go, the circumstances gave him that $60 million per year in new money because the cap damage, he would have been a free agent. It just would have been a disaster for them this year if they hadn't gotten that contract taken care of week 1 last year when he was going to pull the plug on all negotiations and become a free agent after the 2024 season. So they move when they have to move, and they sign a guy when they know they have to sign him, but they wait until that last possible minute to do it, even though it ends up costing them a hell of a lot more later than it would if they do it now. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.